Hey class! So today is junior achievement lesson number 2, and we're going to talk about saving and spending money on your wants and your needs. So in today's lesson, we're going to pretend that we are grown-ups and that we have careers or jobs that we go to every day to make us money. There's a lot that goes into being a grown-up, and properly saving and spending your money is a big part of all of that. Bills are something we're going to talk about today. Bills would be what we call an expected need. Bills are when you have to spend money to stay in your home, to stay warm, to have water to drink, food to eat, etc. Any money responsible grown-up will tell you that you always have to plan for these bills. So some of your money that you earn from your job or career will immediately get set aside for those things. Like I said, we call those expected needs. We know that we're going to need those things, so we know we need to save money for them. With the rest of the money that you earn, you're going to put it into 2 other categories. One of those categories is savings. Savings is money that you set aside for emergency needs. So, for example, if your pet gets sick and needs to go to the vet, that's going to cost money, and you need to have money saved up so that you can afford it. Or maybe your oven breaks and you need to be able to cook your food so that you can eat, so you need a new one. Being money responsible means having a savings for those unexpected needs. You're not expecting your oven to break down or your pet to get sick, but you still need to have money saved aside for those sorts of things. The third area your money is going to go into is your checking account. Your checking account is money that you have and are able to spend on things that you want. So not an expected need, not an unexpected need, but a want. You like ordering pizza or buying new toys. You don't need new toys or takeout food, but you like it and you want it. So occasionally you spend money on those things. You first have to set aside money for your bills and for your unexpected needs so that you can spend things on your wants. So the overall lesson is that when you earn money, you must first divide it into these 3 main categories so that you can pay for your needs before your wants. You always need to focus on the needs before the wants. So let's review some definitions. The definition of wants is something that you would like to have but do not need to have to survive. Needs, however, are the things that you must have to survive. So let's look at the shopping cart on page 2 that's full of items. We're going to actually sort these items into the categories of needs and wants. So what I need you to do is grab your sticker page that looks like this that I included with you. And I want you to just talk it over with your adult. 6 of these stickers are considered needs. I want you to pause and think which ones of these are going to be needs. Don't pull them off your sheet yet, just talk with your adult. Go ahead and pause now. Okay, remember, needs are things like healthy foods, shelter, water, clothing, etc. So let's go ahead and pull off the stickers and you can tell me whether you think it's a want or a need. Let's start at the top. I see a sticker with candy on it. Do you think candy would be something you need to live or something you might just want to have? I hope that you said a want. It's not very healthy for you. So it's not food that you can count on to make you feel good or survive on. The next sticker I see is a pair of shoes. Do you need shoes to survive, or do you just want shoes? Well, shoes should go on your need side because shoes are definitely something that you have to have. Think about walking around this winter. Could you be walking around this winter without shoes on? No, your feet would hurt and get cold. You could even get frostbite and get really sick. So you definitely need to have a nice pair of shoes. Now, something I want to talk to you guys about is needs are something you have to live. You have to have shoes. But do you need the most expensive shoes in the whole wide world? No. You need something that's comfortable and going to keep you warm and safe. So what we need to think about is regular shoes would be a need. Fancy, super expensive shoes would be a want. Something to think about. Next, I see a teddy bear. Do you need a teddy bear to survive, or would it be a toy that you just want? That would definitely go on our want side. You don't have to have a teddy bear to survive, but it is something you might like to have, maybe just to snuggle. The next sticker is of a cat. Do you need pets to live, or do you just want pets? This is crazy, but it goes on the want side. You don't need a pet to survive, and pets are actually extremely expensive. So it's definitely something you have to think about and be money conscious before you get it. For example, dogs and cats, even if you save them from a shelter, it still costs money to adopt them. Then you have to think about how you have to constantly be buying them food. They're kind of like people in the fact that you can't just buy them any old food. You need to buy them food that's going to keep them healthy, because if they're not healthy, then you're going to have to spend money on vet visits. And there's a lot of things like getting your animals fixed and keeping them safe and all those sorts of things that go into it. So pets are actually definitely a want because they're really expensive. So definitely something to think about. Next, I see a computer. Is a computer something that we would need or want? A computer is also going to be a want. You don't have to have a computer to sit on YouTube and watch. You don't have to. But it is something that's a really helpful tool, especially if you're a teacher like Miss Karnick or your job requires it. It's something that helps you out and makes your work a little bit easier. So you don't need it to survive, but it's definitely something that's helpful. Next, I see a picture of a house and an apartment. If you're a first grader, we talked about homes and apartments in our ELA. So where people live is definitely something that's going to go on the need side. You need shelter to survive. Maybe it's a trailer, maybe it's a house, maybe it's an apartment complex. There's lots of different types of homes and housing. Maybe you live in a condo. Those are all options, but as long as you have a shelter that's going to keep you warm and dry, that's what you need. You don't need a bajillion-dollar house that's going to be super fancy and expensive, but you do need a house that's going to keep you warm and safe. Next, I see a sticker that has apples on it. Apples would be a healthy food choice. That is going to go on the need side. Why? Because we need healthy food to survive. Think about it. You might like to eat takeout pizza or maybe go to McDonald's, but those are not healthy foods for you. And if you constantly eat unhealthy food, you're actually going to get really sick, and then you're going to have to pay for doctor's visits and things like that. So it's good to make sure that you're focusing when you go to the grocery store on buying healthy foods. Next, I see a sticker of water. You guys should all be super sure that water is something that's going to go on our needs side. We need water to survive. We don't need soda. We don't even need juice, but we definitely need water because that's what's going to keep you hydrated and healthy. Next, I see a sports car. Do you think a sports car would be a need or a want? Believe it or not, you don't need a car to live. It's helpful to get from point A to point B, maybe going to school or driving around and going to the grocery store, but it's not considered a need. Some people have bicycles, some people borrow cars from other people. It's not something you need, and you definitely don't need the fanciest, most beautiful sports car in the world. That kind of looks like Miss Karnick's car though. That's kind of funny. Next, I see a bicycle. Is a bicycle something that you would need, or is it something that you would want? A bicycle would be a want. It's a great mode of transportation, which we're going to learn about in a few weeks, but it's not something that you need to survive. You don't need to have a way to get around. It makes things, like I said, a lot easier to get to maybe your job or get from your house to go to the grocery store, but it's not technically something you need to survive. Lots of countries have people who just walk instead. Next, I see a sweater. Is clothing a need or a want? Clothing would definitely be a need, especially something that's going to keep you warm and safe. In the winter, other clothing needs would be a coat or maybe boots or pants, because you can't just be walking around in your bathing suit when it's 30 degrees outside. That's crazy. So you want to make sure that whatever clothing you're wearing is going to be appropriate for the weather. We've talked about weather and temperature a lot so far this year, so that's definitely something I want you guys to keep in mind. The last picture is of some bread. Bread would also be something that we would consider a need. Bread is something that if you eat a ton of it all the time, it's not good for you. But it is something substantial that's going to be able to fill your belly and keep you happy. I hope that this was a little bit different of an activity, something kind of fun. I know that we love stickers, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.